Friends, welcome to Mind and Intellect Conversations, a special podcast today, Unapologetically Myself with Namrata Shroff.
Namrata Shroff, art advisor, Art Be a Part an accomplished interior architect, furniture designer, and avid art enthusiast. Namrata Shroff is a powerhouse of talent, grace, and wisdom. She is the founder of NVS Design, co-founder of Pauna Sake, serves on the committee board of YPO and supports public speaking through speech coaches and TED. Her past successful career in Indian media includes over 100 ads and 10 TV shows. Namrata is a specialist in the design of childhood spaces and uplifts artists and children through philanthropy, inspiring others by her impactful work. Please check the About section on our website for more information. Be a part. Check the link in the bio.
We're going to take up this topic, Self-Care Manual. Stay tuned. It's a very important learning session for all of us, how to be unapologetically myself. Isn't it something everyone should pursue? You're going to get immensely benefited. Namrata Shroff is an interior architect specializing in childhood spaces. She's the founder of NVS Design, and she's a model as well as the mother of two wonderful kids. And she's a keen follower of the path of self-mastery. And she's been in this field, the path of self-enrichment or self-mastery, for quite some time. So we're very happy to have Namrata Shroff. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me here. This is really exciting. Actually, I've been waiting for the day when you and I could speak across the table and discuss all things important. Unapologetically us is really my mantra. So thank you so much for including me into this.
Most welcome. Happy to have you here. When I heard you speak on your birthday and when I asked you to speak about turning 50 and
I know, 25 into
25.
Twice.
10 into 5 or 16 into 3.
Kidding, yeah.
So it is, you mentioned that I'm unapologetically myself. That term stayed with me. And I thought, how wonderful it is. That's a character trait which everyone should have. So that was the thought process, and I'm happy we are here to discuss more on this.
So I had a question to start this off.
Right.
What exactly do you define as a self-care manual?
Right. See, why we talk about self-care is every other creature, they are born with a set of design. It's like you're into design. Tiger or a cow, it all has a set of a design. A cow is meek and mild. It cannot be ferocious. A tiger is ferocious. It cannot be meek and mild. They have a set design and they follow that design. They can't live apart from that design. But as a human being, we can be the most benevolent or the most destructive in our life. The ranges, the contradiction is too far and wide. Therefore, to live life to its pristine glory, to live life gracefully, to live life with peace, tranquility, productivity, success, contentment, we need a self-care manual. That's why all other creatures are born with a set design. Only a human being does not have a design. Meaning, we are not born with a learning manual. You buy a gadget, you buy a phone, you buy a tablet, you get a instruction manual for operating the gadget. But we don't have that as such for life. My guru used to say, we're born in captivity. So, self-care manual is a set of value systems, guidelines to improve our mind and intellect, the physical body, the mind and intellect. As a result, we are able to make better choices. And eventually, the quality of choices determine the quality of life. And the quality of choices is determined by the quality of thoughts and emotions we entertain. So therefore, a set guidelines. There's not do's and don'ts here. It's value systems which you are inspired by. As a result, a confluence of a a mind and intellect you're using in all aspects of life, in all roles of life. I keep highlighting there's no point being a one role wonder. The world doesn't need any more one role wonders.
Right.
You got to be a holistic wonder. I mean, none of us can do all roles well, but there must be a joyful execution of our roles. And see, till the age of 20, we have a very limited roles. You're a student, you're a son or a daughter, you're a friend. But once you cross 20, 25, many other roles get added on. You're an entrepreneur, you're a partner, you're a parent, you're an in-law. You're a member of an organization. So many roles gets added on. Not many execute all roles well. The inefficiency in one role will affect the peace in other roles. That's the reason our institution, Mind and Intellect, is focused on improving the quality of emotions, clarity in thinking, and productivity in action. So that's what we've been focusing on, and I know you are a keen admirer of this journey of self-mastery, and that's the reason. That's the reason when I say unapologetically myself, you are the best person to deal with. This is a self-care model. See, when I say, my guru gave a simple analogy. He said there was a great archer, and he used to win tournaments hands down. And one of the, when he went for a tournament, and there was a lot of buzz going on that there is another archer, and his target is 100% all the time. And this archer heard that. I said, what? 100%? He said, I only mastered 70%. How is that 100%? So before a tournament, he very keen, he wanted to meet that archer. So he made private arrangements to meet up with the archer to learn. And he was not a part of the tournament, but there was a buzz that he may participate. If he participates, 100% results, so he's going to lose. So he wanted to learn from this archer. And he went, he took an appointment, went to meet the archer, and he said, I heard that you are a great archer, and how is it you get 100% results, bullseye? Well, I only get 70%, to which the other archer said, look here, there's a problem between you and me. You draw the circle and then shoot. I shoot and then draw the circle. So,
right.
Therefore, he's 100%. See, my guru used to say, why I'm saying this, people live their life and then want to know how to live life.
Correct.
Self-care manual, just because we lived 40, 50 years, doesn't mean that we know how to live life. That is, the age doesn't highlight how well you lived life. So we need guidance, we need inputs, we need mentorship or alignment, spiritual, all that. That is the self-care manual. And if we keep aligning with this manual all the time, enhancing it, it's a different life altogether.
Right. So I think in architectural terms or in design terms, basically what you're trying to say is live life by design.
Correct.
And create your blueprint.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
You're right. The blueprint is important. That's the word. It is because that gives the direction for the rest of your life. It gives the base.
And you have to keep reinventing it.
Correct. That, in fact, even more important, reinventing process or adaptability. That's a big word.
Yes.
And that's what you are also very keen on. So you're right. A blueprint, reinvention, which means what? You are able to better yourself constantly.
Right.
We are not stuck. And I have some very curious questions for you.
Oh, you do? Okay.
What questions would you ask yourself to gain self-mastery?
What questions would I ask myself to gain self-mastery? Actually, a whole bunch of questions come to my head, but I would think to dive into what are the patterns that I keep repeating and why.
Patterns and mental patterns.
Yes, yes. Then am I acting from intention or reaction?
Right. Intention, okay, and reaction.
Yes, like am I being responsive or am I being reactive, right? So that's a question I'd ask myself. I'd ask myself, what is it that I avoid? And what does that reveal about me? Right? I would ask myself, what brings me peace? What takes away my peace? Very important. who am I when no one's watching? Right? Because that says a lot about me.
Right.
How do I respond to criticism, to failure, to discomfort? And I think I would ask myself all these questions because the goal is not perfection. I don't believe in perfection, but I do believe in awareness because the awareness, as you always say, will be the gateway to choice.
Right.
So
Correct.
yeah, I think these are sort of the questions
fabulous
that bubble in
questions.
my head. Yeah.
And I think these questions can be asked time and again because your answers will evolve when you keep improving. And especially awareness, you're right, the more aware you become, the better is your response to the world. You don't react. I'm glad. And how often you think we should ask these questions?
Is that a question you're asking
Yes,
me?
I'm asking you.
How often should we ask these questions? I think like literally every day because today is the last day that you'll be the way you are today.
Right.
And tomorrow you are reborn.
Wow.
Literally. So I think I would ask myself literally every day.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this gives like a guideline, a signpost.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes in these questions, one particular question will be more prominent for that day.
Right.
It is, I like that statement you mentioned. You are this way only today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you're different.
Yeah.
It's a very loaded statement.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But let me ask you, what are your views? What questions do you think propel self-care?
In a similar manner as you mentioned, that's where I would start with what are the truths you're hiding from yourself? The question I would ask myself, what are the truths I'm hiding from myself? It could be from something very simple to very profound. When I say the truths hiding from myself, am I this combination of body, mind, and intellect, or there's something more? Or from the basic aspect, the truths I'm hiding about myself, am I aware of my attachments or my dependencies? Am I aware of that when I say you are big on awareness, the truth is, if I come to know that I have made myself dependent on a person or on a object or on a substance, the truth I may hide from it. I may not accept it. So many a times, the truth is very difficult to digest, accept, but truth remains a truth. So the first question I would ask myself, and I would suggest others, is what are the truths that you're hiding from yourself? From very simple to very profound. And it can be done on a regular basis. Next is, what are the areas you're having difficulty in developing acceptance? What are it's an extension of the first.
Right.
What are the areas in your life where you're finding difficulty in acceptance? Because that reveals our agitations. That reveals our inadequacies in life.
Right.
In fact, the moment you're aware, I am non-accepting of this experience, of this person, of this quality, that there lies the real possibility of growth. Right. It is, I can continue with my non-acceptance, or I can move on, or I can accept and deal with it. So, what are the areas we are having difficulty in developing acceptance? Which is, it's a very, again, how difficult to deal with the truth, the same difficulty it will be with dealing with acceptance. Then, my question would be, how are you dealing with anger, sadness? Are you dealing it in the proper way? Or are these aspects controlling my life? How am I dealing with anger, fear, sadness? Am I dealing it in a matured manner, or am I allowing anger, fear, sadness to control my life?
Right.
So this is, then if this is where we are becoming a little, all these questions and even the questions which you highlighted makes us a little more objective. We see our own life as a witness. The beautiful Sanskrit word sakshi, like a witness. Then that is when we gain a little clarity, or that is when you may have some doubts and you may ask a person whom you have trust and faith.
So
"Yeah,
basically, you're saying become the observer.
Yes.
Step out of your body and become
Correct.
the observer.
Yeah.
Like a camera.
Yes.
Camera teaches you how to become an observer.
Correct.
Step out of your body.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
when you're involved, you will not know it.
Yeah.
A person who's attached to their children or to their work will never know. It says, how else you want me to deal with it, they would say. Why are you so immersed in work? Work is important. They will never know. The moment become the observer and observing it, then suddenly that silence starts talking to you.
Right.
That silence, suddenly, who is this? So there are certain issues. Everyone knows that there are issues in them. But if you don't have that witness attitude and observer attitude, objective view, that's when we keep highlighting a person who considers that there's nothing wrong with them. You can't do anything with them.
Yeah.
You may take them to the best of retreats, spiritual retreats, wellness places, but they said, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
How they can be helped? But only a person who thinks, man, I have some issues. I think I need to deal with it. I'm incapable of dealing with it. How do I deal with it? Then the solution comes. Another few questions I thought these are all intense questions, but it's better we ask.
Yeah.
Sooner the better. Are you dealing with anger, fear, sadness in the right way, or are you allowing these elements to deal with you? Next is, what layers of shame you have to let go. What layers of shame? I could have done something when I was 10, 12, or no, and I feel shameful of it, and I can continue bombarding myself with that. I have to let go of it. Holding on to it is not an option. So what layers? It could be, I met this guy, he's very successful, but he failed in his 12th standard, in the CBA. That the shame, he's not able to let go. But eventually he was able to let, or a betrayal a person went through, they're not able to let go of it. They feel very shameful for what they've gone through. How did I trust this person? They feel very shameful. When everyone told me, but I didn't know still. So, layers of shame. Have I let go? Ask this question. Then, what areas of your life remains unresolved, unfinished, unresolved? It could be a setback you're not to deal with. So, areas of life unresolved.
Right.
Another one is, very important, I would suggest is, are you able to practice self-forgiveness?
Most important.
Most important.
Yeah.
It is, lack of that is, regrets are stronger.
Right.
So, many people think that they have a choice in this. How did I do it? And then they think they don't have a choice. But we have a choice. Forgiving others is difficult. Forgiving yourself is even more difficult.
True.
Therefore, I keep highlighting, when you let go of the hatred towards others, you can forgive others. When you let go of the guilt you have created, you can forgive yourself. So, self-forgiveness, it is this only the person who knows. We may portray a very different demeanor outside. Right. Self-forgiveness, we could have done, maybe, that's why that was my maturity at that time, but I'm a different person. I'm an evolved person. Am I practicing? In fact, this has to be done on a weekly basis. Am I practicing self-forgiveness? Forget forgiving others.
Yeah.
First, let me forgive myself so that I don't beat myself down. So these are some of the questions. You may not get definitive answers,
right,
but this gives you the right ways of thinking. The direction is set.
Yeah.
When the direction is set, then what happens? You may eventually get answers, not immediately, but you will get the answers because the thought process is going on.
Right.
It is, at least you will know, I'm not forgiving myself, therefore I'm suffering. Or I'm allowing my anger to control me. It is, I keep highlighting one of my favorite statements is, speak when you're angry. You'll make the greatest speech you'll ever regret.
So true.
All our class members have heard it many a time.
Yeah.
It is so. These are the questions, and as I mentioned, it's like a self-care questionnaire. It will only become better and better. Maybe in certain times when you have transcended one, it is like there are always some truths we'll be hiding. Always. Because it is, if you know everything, it's different. There's always there are areas of developing acceptance. There's always some I keep highlighting, happiness and disturbance can't go together. If you're happy, you're not disturbed. If you're disturbed, you're not happy. So so this aspect, the moment I'm disturbed, agitated, there's something I'm not accepting. So whether I accept or not is different. But the first that your favorite word, awareness. Awareness comes in. So all these questions gives a certain awareness with my quality of thinking and feeling. So the regular, and I don't beat myself down with these questions, but when I'm calm, only when the mind is relatively quiet, these answers resonate. Otherwise, I don't want to. The mind rebels. See, this unsettles the mind. These questions. That's the reason that the mind is little calmer. When you ask these questions, there's some guidance, some inputs come in, and then you change. Correct. So this is my question. Imagine your questions and my question put together can be a good questionnaire, self-care questionnaire, which everyone can use from a youngster, a 9 or 10-year-old to a 90-year-old. This will be I'll create that questionnaire, self-care questionnaire. I'll share it with the people.
But it's very important to have the right questions, right? Because
Correct.
questions lead to answers,
Correct.
and the answers lead to questions, and then
Yes.
it just goes on and on and on.
I mean,
I wanted to spiral back to something that you mentioned just now about, stepping out, like I mentioned about stepping out and being the observer. My question to you is, how often do you have to keep being the observer? Do you always live in that observer state, or do you go in and out, in and out? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, it's a very deep question, Namrata. It is both ways. A person who is spiritually evolved, or what they call the state of self-realization or nirvana or moksha, they live in that state of
Constantly outside the body.
They are the observer.
Right.
They are the dynamic observer.
So they're like the director who's watching the whole
correct.
show.
They have the what they call helicopter view, or it is for them that is they function from that standpoint.
Right, but what about common human beings like
That's why
all
I
of
said,
us?
That's why in areas where it's we have to have that observer attitude, the objective view, and because that will in every role, in especially roles where emotions are stronger. And we keep highlighting having emotions is wonderful when you become emotional, and when your emotional state influences your choices, it could be faulty, or it is faulty. So we need to get into, this is where the intellect comes into play. The rational, when I say rational, it's not devoid of emotions. It has all emotions, but you never become emotional. So you need to have this objective view, that observer view. As a result, you don't get involved in it.
Correct.
It's a simple aspect of anger. What is it? I lost my observer viewpoint.
Correct.
Somebody said something, I identify with it, and then I jump at it. And then I regret my own action. I wish I kept quiet for 5 minutes. I wish in the 5 minutes of that observer, I said, this doesn't need my response.
Right.
This doesn't need any reaction from me. My response is quiet.
Right.
It is the best way to deal with your temper is when the other person has lost it. I'm just saying, so therefore we need it. For that, the self-care manual, these questions, these value systems, all these things gives you that awareness approach, that observer approach. And the more and more you deal with it, and you are dealing with your mind gracefully using your intellect. Intellect is a rational aspect. When I say rational, again, it's clarity, it is values. So you are able to make a matured, refined, progressive choice. And we need it. That awareness, that objective view is extremely important in dealing with the nitty-gritties of life. Small, many a times it's a small thing which becomes bigger.
Right.
A little distraction I avoided, it would have been better. Now that has become an attraction. Now I am a victim of it. Can you imagine? So the objective view, it's like my guru used to say, like an actor on stage.
Exactly.
An actor on stage. It is Rajinikanth playing the role of a gangster, and he may play the role so well. In his real life, he could be a saintly person, but that objective, that role needs it.
Yeah.
That role needs a certain aggression he plays, but perfectly aware that it is a role he or she is playing. So that's how each one should live our life.
Right.
Getting into the role, and when you come out of it, switch off that role, then switch into other role. A role of a parent needs a different mindset. A role of a friend needs a different mindset. You can't bring the parents' mindset into dealing with your parents. Each one, this is where awareness, objectivity plays a major role. And the whole self-care manual, the self-care questionnaire is it's designed to slowly make us get into this mindset.
Right.
Now, I have a question for you. What are the areas of your life you would prefer to have perfect control? And you seem to be like that.
Everything. I'm joking. If only that was possible, but it is not. But I think I'd like to have deep control over my emotional responses, so that I don't suppress them, but I choose how I channel it. I think I'd like to have control over my time. I'd like to have control over the boundaries that I create, right? What I say yes to, what I say no to, with clarity, and most importantly, without guilt.
Excellent.
Because I do feel like guilt and anxiety are a complete waste of emotions.
Correct.
Right?
Dissipates energies.
Yeah, it's so unnecessary, right? But easier said than done. So,
Correct.
Yeah. And I think I'd like to have control over my internal dialogue, so that I can kind of replace the self-criticism with immense but realistic self-respect, not overinflated,
Right.
like ego.
That's
right?
that's a nice one. It's a very nice one.
Yeah.
Internal dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, see, many a times it's our internal dialogue which destroys us.
Yeah.
And that too, it is refined, cultured, matured thought process with the internal dialogue. A lot can be solved.
Right.
Excellent point. Excellent one.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm learning from the guru, yeah? So it's all working, that means, huh?
I'm very happy
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah.
See, go ahead. You have more points.
So a couple of other points I thought was about having control over my energy, so that I know where to invest it and where not to waste it, right? And where to let go. Where to let go. I think that's an important aspect, because again, in that you conserve your energy.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
To put it in a sort of Vedantic language, I think I'd like to have control over my desires, so that I can keep them within my capacity, and also have the gyan, have the wisdom to know when enough is enough.
Wow.
Right?
That's that's everything.
That's everything. Yeah. And another one I thought of is to to have the control to be able to end an experience with an experience, right?
Excellent.
Basically be in the moment.
Right.
I'm trying to think of an example of how I could end an experience with an experience. Maybe you can guide me.
Yes.
To that.
See, it could be positive or negative. You could have gone to a nice restaurant, you like the interiors, the design, the architectural feel, the food. You know what happens? You come back and you post. I mean, you keep talking about it to others. We never end that experience. We carry forward the experience of the next one. As a result, you're not available in the present experience.
Right.
So the whole thing is, when you do that, you create a fresh like or a dislike. Somebody said something to you, at the time you just received it, and then you don't end that experience. How can they talk to me that way? That's not the way. So when you what they call this in the spiritual term, cut chewing. A cow keeps chewing the grass constantly. Similarly, we cut chew experiences. So we don't. It's the that's what the internal dialogue, the mind chatter,
Right.
which is dangerous at times, because you create a fresh dislike, or what was a concern has become a hatred. So ending experience with experience, if it's a very strong intellectual supervision over life's experiences. Something was great, excellent. No, you have it in your memory, but don't relive it again and again. In my observation, anyone who relives a negative experience again and again will lead themselves to depression. So in that way, if you can have a control over that, that's why we're not suggesting to dismiss the experience. Good experience, be grateful, be joyful about it, celebrate it. But the next experience is also good, be good or even better. So ending experience with experience will help you to be in the present most of the time. And I'm glad that you brought up that point, because that area of control anyone has now, the anxiety drops.
Yeah.
The fear is, see, I always say, having little fear is fine. Fear meaning we're doing a podcast. Every time we want to give the best. A good fear is fine. It is, but not fear. You hopefully do, not that way. So, I learned it from my guru. Ending experience with experience. There's no, forget all the nice spiritual terms and retreats. If we can do this, you are living a relatively quiet, a peaceful life.
So a lot of it is like one knows it in theory, but then to put it into action is another.
This is where the intellect comes into play, Namrata ji. It is the intellect that's the awareness quotient in you. We talk about Sue's big on communication quotient,
Right.
Emotional quotient, intellectual quotient, awareness quotient. Just came up talking to you.
Yeah.
Intellect is the awareness quotient, and as a result, that awareness doesn't allow you to relive it time and again. It is sometimes those who are going to a very beautiful place or a holiday, they don't want to. They want to be in the present, enjoy the moment. It is because we know that it is temporary.
Right.
So in that way, the greater your awareness, easier the process of ending experience with experience. Right. We are just a victim of the mind. The mind has no direction; it just drags you out and into it. So you've got to be careful.
Right. So that leads me to think about. So what emotions do you think we need to observe for self-development?
Predominantly, I would suggest the negative emotions. Positive emotions, it's going to help you. But you got to be more observant, aware of negative emotions. Few of it we are taking up. One is bitterness. Bitterness shows where you need to heal. When I say bitter, you're holding on to some judgments about yourself and others. The moment I become judgmental, I can become bitter against a person or against myself. One of the emotions, negative emotions, where does this bitterness stem from? One is bitterness. It's a product of judgments. I have created over myself and others. I can be very bitter with myself. And I'm just using the word bitter. We can use any. It's like when you have Karela, the bitter gourd. It is instantly you have that hit. So bitterness. Next is guilt. And we've been discussing on it. It shows that you're living in this aspect. You're living a life according to others' expectations of you and not your own expectation of yourself. Guilt. But then I had this beautiful opportunity. Could be music or could be business or could be anything. They did their MBA, they got into a job and there was a campus interview, there was a nice top 5 consulting companies and they got into it and it could be he's making money, he or she is making money. The guilt is I wanted to start a mountaineering expedition tours, and every time he's only seeing those pictures. The guilt is because I've been living according to others' expectation of me all the time. It's too heavy. I've never lived up to my own expectation, because one of the major guilt a person may go through in their life is, I wish I allowed myself to be more happy. Towards the end of their life, there was a research done, last stages of the person's life. They did this research. What are the major guilt or regret? They said, I wish I allowed myself to be more happier. I wish I lived up to my own expectation and not others' expectation of me all the time. So this is one of the major regrets a person has. So guilt. Another aspect is disappointments. When I say disappointments, you're putting in efforts in your areas of interest, but you're not getting the desired results. Right. Because self-care manual, you got to observe the disappointments. We are looking at various negative emotions which can disrupt our quality of thinking. Disappointment. I've been putting in effort in my areas of interest. It's not that others but I'm not getting desired results. Then what happens? My enthusiasm drops. Yeah. Sometimes it drops. Says, so what? Or whatever. It doesn't. These days you need contacts, or you need a rich father-in-law. Something. It is. I'm putting in effort, but it's not happening.
Right.
See, it might happen. You need that little extra push, but that disappointments. Another is anger.
So you're saying basically to manage expectations. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right?
In a way,
you're putting in the work, but you don't get what you think you should be. So basically manage your expectations.
Correct.
Right?
Manage your expectations and rethink the process. Some process which you have adopted is not giving you the desired results. Right. Maybe you have to
pivot.
It is correct. That's the word. So we have to. This is where getting into these negative emotions helps us to get to the basics.
Right.
It is. I keep highlighting, and the last one is anger. We discussed anger. Anger shows there is some desire which is interrupted. Without a desire which is interrupted, I cannot become angry. It is this. So observe your negative emotions. It is guilt, bitterness, disappointments, resentment. It is anger. When you keep observing these things, then you know where the problems are manifesting. Right. These days, people are big into manifesting. We are actually manifesting all these things. That's why you also started, right? You mentioned there is a pattern to our suffering. There is a pattern to our thinking. You want to reset the pattern to suffering, then you got to recast your pattern to your thinking.
Right.
So all these negative emotions, bitterness, resentment, anger, guilt, disappointments, helps the intellect to redirect our thinking. So this is what I find is essential. See, one is to talk about the positive aspects, but I want the moment you deal with the negative aspects well, it's easy to inculcate the positive.
Correct.
Now I'm getting into the favorite part of this podcast, which is unapologetically yourself. myself. Unapologetically myself. I think it should be a coinage which, like a aphorism. We should use that.
Yeah.
How does one unapologetically myself? How does one gain that level of self-care?
Right.
That's your. This question came through you, and the answer should come from you.
Well, the way I see being unapologetically myself, my favorite topic is personally, it would be like a result of a radical self acceptance. Basically, embracing yourself, including all the parts that you may also feel shy about, but just embracing yourself as a whole. Boundaries without guilt, creating boundaries without guilt.
This one, can you explain? Creating boundaries without guilt.
Yeah, without guilt is basically you protect your time, you protect your mental space, you protect your peace. Because like I said earlier, guilt and anxiety are really a pretty useless emotion according to me. And we need to just raise ourselves above it.
Correct.
Right? Most importantly, also like to let go of approval, right? So when you're not,
You're talking about validation.
you're not, yeah, you're right. I'm talking about validation where you're not really wanting to be understood by everyone. You have to let it go. It's
Correct.
okay. If the
Correct.
person doesn't understand you, it's fine.
Correct.
As long as you understand yourself, right? And then how do you do this also? It's like you do this daily self alignment. So you do small things that match your values,
Right.
but that match your voice,
Right.
that match your truth. Because my truth could be different than your truth,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Correct.
Indeed.
I mean, because my perception is my reality.
Yes.
Right? So just align myself to that, and then I can become unapologetically me, And I think what I'm trying to say is that make myself my home,
Yes.
right?
Excellent.
And keep coming back to my home,
Correct.
which is me.
Absolutely.
And to be safe in my own skin. That's what it is.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, which means there is pride in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Good way. The
Not,
pride.
not in an
Not
egoistic
ego.
way.
Correct.
No.
Or the other a better word is self-esteem,
Self-esteem, yes.
not self-importance.
Yeah.
There's a lot
You
of
said it
there's
beautifully.
self-esteem, and the best part is we are not judgmental of others also. When you are
Yes, it goes hand in hand.
No,
Because
it
you
is-
can't do this
Correct.
and then do that
Correct.
throughout that. It has to
it
has to resonate.
The
Yeah.
pieces fall in place.
Yes.
It is like, and the other aspect is, predominantly what you're saying is freedom from your own mind. In the sense of no validation. I need to validate myself. Many a times I know whether I have done a good job or not.
Yeah.
The others I appreciate it, nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what can I do? So, unapologetically myself. This is something I guess everyone should have, especially girls. I mean, there's no discrimination here, but that's power.
Yeah.
That is, being unapologetic myself is power. It's grace, and that is how we should live life. And any other points in that which you think could be simple points, but makes a valid contribution.
Right. No, this is pretty much it. And, truly to be able to, again, how do you do that is that, again, awareness, right? So you have to be able to step out of your body and see yourself.
Correct.
To have that observer view, to literally, I use the camera as an example because I find that such a beautiful
Correct.
instrument that allows you to
Correct.
see yourself from another,
Yes.
to zoom out, to be able to
Correct.
zoom out and
Zoom
zoom
out.
in and zoom out and zoom in. So, that's really how I see it. And in fact, that brings me to asking you a question that what are the areas that you think we need to exercise control?
I mean, you're right. We need to. I'm talking from the fundamental aspect. We need to exercise control with reference to attitudes.
Right.
I may be upset, but I can't have that attitude with in a certain place. I keep highlighting, and I'm sure you would have heard this before. Without attitude, we define attitude as without changing anything externally, with a slight change in the way I think, I feel, and I make a choice, everything about my life changes.
Correct.
Attitudes. They say people, your attitude, people know your attitude much before you speak.
They do.
The way either it is humble or humility or arrogance, or people seem to understand our attitude even before we speak. So that's the energy. Attitude, another thing is energy. So when I say control attitude, I would like to have the right attitude. In anything and everything I do, I may be tired at some. See, like you're a parent, you're a mother. Even though you're tired, the attitude when it comes to your children is very different. It's one of compassion, one of kindness, concern. Whatever they have done, the attitude never changes. So even at times, maybe you have traveled 16-hour flight and you come back, but still, the moment you see your daughter, there's a smile.
Yeah.
There's a smile, and I've seen all the pictures with your daughter. It's so much that attitude, it flows. It's so beautiful. So you will have it all the time. So I would say right attitudes. Then, as you mentioned, the boundaries. Again, I'm taking clue from your things. The boundaries where material. When I say boundaries, it's more. I don't want to. Materials. You want to buy something, but there's a boundary. I don't want to unnecessarily splash, or I don't do it to show off. I like to put it, use it, but that mental, material, physical, emotional, intellectual boundaries. It is I created not like a security in a place, but I don't want to trespass. And then the others have boundaries, and I also have boundaries. And when it's like sometimes people are gossiping, and I have my boundaries. I don't want to gossip. I just keep quiet. That's my boundary.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a dinner table in a restaurant now. I can't. Sorry, I have to leave. I can't say that. I understand that's when they say when they're talking, gossiping about somebody. Just keep quiet. I'm not. That's my boundaries. I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So in every aspect, have your boundaries. Next is control over your words.
Oh, right. Words.
Words.
Are so
Words.
important.
Words have
Words
energies.
matter.
Words matter. They say it takes 3 or 4 years to learn how to speak. It may take a lifetime to know what not to speak.
Yeah.
It takes 3-4 years to know how to speak.
Yeah.
But it may take a lifetime to know how not to speak, what not to speak. So words matter.
Right.
It has energies. It can be very empowering, inspiring, or it can just destroy another person.
Correct.
Words. We should have, because we are dealing with others. And words towards myself. I said, you are a useless piece of garbage. Imagine, I tell myself, how can I even resurrect myself? Words, efforts, your efforts. You should have control over your efforts, meaning you don't give up. That giving up is not an option. I'll keep trying. Your efforts. And finally, my choices. I need to have control over my choices. I can't be impulsive. So these are the different areas where, I would, simple, but it is very crucial and important. My attitudes, boundaries at all levels, material, physical, emotional, intellectual, words, efforts, and choices. If we have control over these aspects, I'm aligning myself with the Selfcare Manual. It is the questionnaire both of us have created for the world.
Right.
All these things, I am answering it properly and I'm dealing with it. Now, important question from a person I don't know, it's okay to say a person who turned 50.
Yeah, absolutely. 50. Yeah, I love 50. Yeah.
You take it,
Yeah.
you do it with such grandeur. The 50, I wish many 50-year-old, are like you.
Thank you. I just think age is a number, so it's okay. And I love numbers.
Yes.
Because numbers never lie.
Yes. And it cannot fail you.
Yeah.
Numbers, it is your wrong calculation which fails you. See, it is something right you have done. Huh? Yeah. Otherwise, I'm with you. Age is not, it is just a number. We age mentally. Everyone ages physically. You can't arrest it. That also you have arrested through your own self-discipline, I can see. But we age mentally. Predominantly, and I've seen 30-year-old talk like 60-year-old. That is over this, and there are 60 or a 50-year-old talk like a 25-year-old. In not just talking, that energy. So, my question to you is, what is your suggestions to youngsters and to the people who are nearing 50s on developing self-care in their life? We are talking about from age group of 15 till 49. What is your suggestions, inputs on developing a wonderful self-care program in their life?
So, to all the young people, and by young I mean anyone who's under 50, at any age, honestly, but I'd say start small but stay consistent, right? Because self-care isn't like a spa day, right?
Correct.
Self-care is like how you talk to yourself, how much rest you get, how you handle failure. Also, unplug to reconnect. That's very, very important. Take breaks from, I'm just giving practical examples, like take breaks from your social media, listen to your own thoughts, be quiet just with yourself. I would say build rituals, build not routines, but build rituals. Like, so whether it's journaling or taking a walk, breath work, find what helps you reset, and then just make it sacred. Like your day should not go without it. Like for me, like little things like I want to wake up and have my black coffee and I want to listen to my Shiva chants. Okay.
Lovely.
So this is my every morning, and this is not negotiable. It is just
Correct.
every single morning, this is what I will do. I wake up to that. Even if I've not brushed my teeth, this is what I will wake up to.
Wonderful.
Another thing is, I think as human beings, very often we feel shy to ask for help. But I would say to all the young people out there, like, ask for help. It's okay, and self-care. You need to take support from others for self-care, and it's perfectly all right, and ask for help. Because you're not alone in this.
Right.
We're all there.
Correct.
And also, I would say is that you're not a project, So growth is good, but growth is not like you're broken.
Correct.
Right? So self-care isn't about fixing it. It's about tending.
Correct.
It's just like about nurturing. Like I'm a mother of two human kids and like 6 dogs and 2 birds and all of that. So I'm just saying that it's not just about fixing it then and there. It's about tending.
Correct. You're right. That nurturing it.
Yeah, nurturing it. Like it's a continuous journey every day.
Correct.
I would also say that I do believe in dose, which is like you have to have a dose of dose in your day. Dose is your dopamine. I'm very scientific thinking.
Please.
So you have to have your dopamine, you have to have your oxytocin, you have to have your serotonin, you have to have your endorphins. So create these.
Yes.
Do things that create this and get a dose of dose every day, and it should keep you kind of well.
Yes. Why don't you elaborate a little more on the dose.
On the dose, like what?
Even though people are aware,
Yeah.
dopamine,
Right.
oxytocin,
Yeah.
serotonin,
Right.
and endorphins.
Yes. What creates that?
What creates and how do we? Which are these chemicals which should be utilized properly?
Right.
And I mean, I'm told serotonin, you got to be cautious a little bit. It could be a stress element aspect, but
Right.
endorphins, dopamine.
Yeah.
So, if you can
endorphin-
elaborate a little more light on it.
Right. So endorphins is like it's the happy hormone. So basically, you work out, you exercise, it generates endorphins. If you're not feeling happy, just go for a walk, go for a run, and you see how your mood changes. What's really happening at a chemical level in your brain is that endorphins are being released, and it just changes, it shifts you. Similarly, dopamine hit is like when you finish a task, right? You get a dopamine hit,
Right.
which is great. It's good to feel that high, and also not. There has to be balance of it.
Right.
It can also be negative. Dopamine
In a
hit
way,
can-
living up to our task
Right.
gives that the dopamine
Right.
impact in an individual.
Right. Oxytocin, like, when you're with your pets, when you're hugging your child, when you're feeling love, when you're just sharing gratitude, when you're praying, even that. So just there are so many various ways to create all these
Oxytocin.
hormones in your life, but these are just little everyday examples that you can incorporate. About serotonin, actually, I'll let you speak about it because
See, I have read about it, but I need to do a little more research. Serotonin is the aspect or chemical which creates stress. That's what I'm told. When I would like to know, delve a little deeper. I did speak about it, but
Right.
I'm not able to recollect that fully now.
Right.
But of these endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin,
Oxytocin, yeah.
these are things which it has the positive and the negative sides.
correct.
So if you are using the positive, eventually, all that the self-care manual, the self-care questionnaire will help you to gives the right dose to the dose.
Yeah,
That's what I can say.
that's an excellent point. Yes, the right dose for the dose. Yeah.
It's all the self-care manual, we discussed, the questionnaires,
Yeah.
plus all the positive emotions.
Right.
It's like even it is what do you call oxytocin, as you mentioned, or it is gratitude, being with the children, or various avenues. Said praying also.
Yeah.
All those things release these chemicals.
Correct.
So in our terminology, we say it's the subtle which controls the gross.
Right.
Your body releases these chemicals. It will, depending on the subtle, which is your mind and intellect. If the mind and intellect is empowered, the self-care process is proper and unapologetically myself.
Right.
When you are able to, you are creating all these, you are giving a right dose to the dose. So that's what I'm saying. A person who is unapologetically themselves, in the form of self-esteem, they respond gracefully. They are giving themselves a proper dose of this dose every day.
Right.
And the best part with this is, wherever they are, they influence others' dose. In fact, very vicariously, you give a dose to their dose.
Right.
In an environment where there is laughter and other things, you will find they become a little light-hearted.
Correct. It's contagious.
It's like why we go
In a
to
good way.
in a place of worship, that collective energy. So
Yes.
that gives you a dose to your dose.
Yeah.
We also use the dose in other word. My parents, my mother used to say, "This fellow needs a dose," meaning one. he needs a discipline. That they used to that dose of medicine. That's
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
This self-care. This one is essential. The youngsters, if they are able to, do it, it will be nice.
Right. And the one last two points I wanted to add to it, which I missed, is that also it's important for youngsters to understand the meaning of luck. Like a lot of youngsters are just like hoping for luck and some magic to happen. And there is nothing like luck. It's
Correct.
really about, as we say, opportunity meets preparedness.
Correct.
So that preparedness is work.
Correct.
So you have to do that work to then achieve what they call luck, because there's no
Yes.
magic over there.
Correct.
Right? It's just
Correct.
very logical.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mathematical.
Mathematical, yeah. Sorry, I'm just like I think in
Correct.
math. And lastly, I want to say is that okay, there's a lot of benefits to IQ and there's a lot of benefits to EQ, but in this modern world, it's really the AQ that matters, the adaptability quotient. To be able to. It's not plan A and then you pivot to plan B. No, whatever happens is the plan,
Correct.
right? And it's just your AQ that will allow you to see that was the plan all along,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So the adaptability quotient that really needs to be developed to be able to pivot constantly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
In fact, adaptability quotient became so evident or important during the pandemic.
Yes.
Those who are not able to adapt,
Right.
they just fell out of place.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, me. I used to have only physical lectures.
Right.
The COVID made me adapt to online lectures,
Correct.
and hundreds of lectures we had to do at
And
the
it
time.
kept us all well,
Yes.
thanks to you doing online lectures and all of us having a dose of
Yes.
you, right? Yeah.
It is so kind of you to say.
Yeah.
See, adaptability, that became a buzzword. You could be very intelligent, but you're not able to adapt because the mind is, or the ego doesn't bend. You're too rigid on certain emotions. I mean, I guess you should write something on adaptability quotient. First time I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
With our friends. Sue, it was CQ, communication quotient. I think there's something with the YPOs, I guess.
Yeah,
The
CQ
Q,
and AQ.
the quotient, in fact, adaptability quotient is of prime importance from a youngster to a old person. It is at a certain age you have to adapt. Otherwise, loneliness it could be another pandemic.
Right.
Adaptability. We have to adapt to certain things. And I mean, you're right, plan A, plan B, but adapt. You learn. And let me tell you, adaptability becomes very comfortable with a strong intellect, a confluence of a strong intellect and a pure mind. You're able to adapt. If I have intelligence which propels my ego, anyone who's very egoistic finds it very difficult to adapt.
Correct.
A sharp intellect, that's why when I say sharp intellect, mathematical in their thinking, in your words, the numbers, it doesn't lie, it doesn't say anything wrong. And a pure emotion, you adapt. Because what if when some people lose a parent or a near and dear or a pet or whatever, or a position, you have to adapt to that change. Otherwise, you may drown yourself in misery. So that adaptability, I'm glad you brought out. Then when you said AQ, I said, what is that? AQ, adaptability quotient. It's the more and more you work on your intellect and you're able to deal with your mind well, it's an effect. Namrata, adaptability quotient is an effect. The cause you got to put in. I also like that your notion of luck for youngsters. I think Mark Twain made this statement. He said, I'm a great believer in luck. The harder I work, the luckier I become.
So true.
And it is, I don't know, it could be, I have to check, but I remember the quote, the harder I work, the luckier I become. As you mentioned, luck is a meeting point of phenomenal preparation, meeting an opportunity.
Correct.
So the entire focus is on preparation. Then is on, the luck happens. If you are in pristine physical health, I wish it was luck. Then everybody can. It is the amount of workout and all that you do and how consistent you are. That is the effort. So I'm glad you made that statement. Wonderful, wonderful. And I think the last question I thought we will take up is, it is the process towards self-care. I thought The last, we'll conclude with that question.
Correct.
And where we move from different, we are in zones, as in awareness zones. The least awareness, taking clue from you, because the is a comfort zone, least awareness, or you're only aware of your own present situation. We have to move from comfort zone to a fear zone, from fear to a learning zone, learning to a growth zone. This whole aspect, just a little for the youngsters along the comfort zone, many people say is the most uncomfortable zone. Should be the comfort zone is what? The familiarity of your present, of your the past, literally familiarity of your past keeps you in the present, preventing you from moving to a better future. Many people are very comfortable in their own zones. The real growth happens outside the comfort zone.
Correct.
In the Vedas, they talk about tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas is a state of ignorance, inertia, selfishness. You are just there in that situation, that position, comfort zone. Then comes the fear zone. Fear zone is where you are taking responsibility for your choices. He says, I can't be like that. I need to take responsibility for my choices. I have various roles in life. I've got responsibilities. You start taking responsibility for your choices. That is when you go through some difficulties. That's not used. The person is not used to it. And then from there comes learning zone. The learning zone is where you start using your intellect, and you know your inadequacies, you know your limitations, you know where the areas of growth needs to be brought in. You understand these are the advisory aspects I need. Learning zone is you are expanding your intellect. Learning zone. The comfort zone is there's no growth at all. Just there, no. I've known many people, they're like vegetables. They don't do anything. And they think it's very comfortable. But that's the most dangerous zone. Then that's when the moment a person feels uncomfortable, or they feel there's a fear. If I stay in this, it'll be more dangerous. So they move to the fear zone. They start taking responsibilities. And then comes a learning zone. Learning zone is where the real growth happens, real changes happen. The final aspect is a growth zone where, as you mentioned, the good can be better, the better can be great, the great can be splendid. So the growth zone is where you are using your intellect. Awareness is predominant. The awareness quotient doesn't exist in the comfort zone. It kickstarts in the fear zone because you're getting into it. And learning zone is where the awareness is swelling, is growing. In the growth zone, you're functioning from the standpoint of adaptability. Right. I would say awareness and adaptability keeps enhancing all the way through. So for youngsters, don't get stuck in a comfort zone. Push yourself to in a fear zone. It's fine. That it's a healthy fear. Will I succeed? Will it work out? Is it the right thing? It's okay. But you keep doing it. And then comes the learning zone. So your awareness and adaptability quotient, you keep working on it and it enhances. In the growth zone, you're totally adaptable. We got to adapt to AI. And so much is going to happen. It is that adaptability helps your productivity and eventually results in peace and tranquility. So that's my suggestion to all youngsters as well. But thank you so much, Namrata ji, for giving your time and being here. It was wonderful having you. It was
Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you. It was wonderful being here. It has been such an enriching morning. It's been so nice engaging with you, and I think this has really set the tone for not just my day, but for, I think, my month.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I hope it helps many more youngsters as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Friends, most of the people who watch our podcast, they only watch the podcast. They don't subscribe. If you subscribe to our podcast, it will help us in improving the quality of our production, bringing in great guests and helping you to make better choices in life. So, subscribe to Mind and Intellect YouTube channel, also the Mind and Intellect channels in Spotify. Kindly subscribe. Stay tuned. You have many podcasts are on the way. Thank you.